Yay Networks.
Welcome to Craig Louganis is Alive, the podcast that challenges what you think you know. I'm your host, Craig Louganis, and yes, I'm still alive. And I'm joined by my good friend and manager, Beth Zinman.
Hello, Gregory. I'm going to call you Gregory
Hello.
today.
Right?
Change it up just a little bit. I am thrilled to be here. I am so glad you are live. I will never tire of saying that. And yeah, here we are. So you've been like traversing part of the United States lately, out and about.
I drove to Fort Worth, Texas, to visit my cousin, and then I also had another friend in Dallas that turned 60 on the 29th, so I was there for that. And yeah, it was it was a really nice trip, actually.
That's a really nice way to spend some holiday time and start the new year, I think, seeing family and friends. So very cool.
Yeah.
So
I made baklava.
Oh my gosh, wait a minute.
And
Oh,
I know.
Wait, you
Oh,
shipped some to me.
Do you still have some? Oh my
I
God.
finished it last night.
Oh,
I
wow.
actually gave some to people. So let me tell the listeners, I'm like now bursting to tell the listeners. So Greg loves to make baklava around the holidays. I guess I'm not going to take that thunder from you. You'll explain. But so we exchanged gifts and Greg sent me a package. And it's funny, Greg, because I'm like, this smells familiar. And I saw it was from you. I'm like, is there something from Greg's house in here? I'm like, like recalling the scent. And when I opened it, mind blown, it was an entire oven tray of baklava, the most delicious baklava ever. And I was flabbergasted and could not wait to cut into a corner and just get a little piece out for myself.
I know. Well, it's funny because generally when I don't like baklava. Because
it's hysterical.
Yeah. And so I don't know. My mother and I created this recipe. We went to the Greek festivals and bought all the Yaya's cookbooks. And so reading like 5 different recipes for baklava, this is what we came up with. And it's incredible because usually when you get baklava, it's like syrupy and soggy.
Is perfect.
But the way that we made it, the phyllo is really crispy and and it's not that soggy. So so I just
I'm here to attest to that.
Yeah, and that was something that we would do for the holidays. I would go to mom's and she'd make divinity and fudge, and we'd make baklava together, along with my godmother, my Aunt Jerry. And so that was kind of tradition. So now, mom passed in 2004. And so I'm just tapping back into that of, making the baklava during the holidays as gifts.
Yeah. It was a wonderful gift. I knew that that the origins, can't speak today.
Origins.
I knew the origins of it. Of making this with your mom is very, special time. So that made it literally that much sweeter. And I shared it with people and shared that story, this is something you did with your mother, so they knew how special that was and that it was homemade. And my sister-in-law got a real kick out of that. Oh my God, I'm eating Craig Louganis's baklava.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, tell him, I don't know if it's the honey or what it is in here, but it's absolutely perfect. It's like nothing I've ever had.
Yeah. It is. It's not like the baklava that I've had anywhere else. So
I could talk about food all day, but we can't.
Yeah,
We can't. So
we
what's
got
happening?
well, okay, today we're talking about biohacking and how meditation and vibration therapy can be used to optimize your mental health. Craig Goldberg gifted
Yeah.
me this beautiful, he's in, his company's InHarmony,
Yeah.
and he gifted me this cushion, and I just love that cushion. I
So
mean,
I know meditation is like, so much part of your everyday. It's
Mhm,
part of how you achieved what you did, and it's also
mhm,
like a, big part of your just general wellness and like mental health practice and,
right.
all of that.
Well, I mean, I didn't call it meditation, when I was a kid, I did visualization and all of that. And, that was just what I did. And so now, all these years later, meditation is huge. And the thing about the In Harmony cushions, they have other products, massage and some Craig will discuss that, but
Mhm.
the the vibration
Yeah,
you
that's
know
really cool.
is so cool, and also the sound, elevating your experience really in the meditation to raise to the delta level or the gamma level.
Oh,
uh,
talking about brainwaves now. Yeah. Very
yeah, yeah.
cool. Yes.
Because it's all energy.
Mhm.
Vibration is energy,
Yeah.
and it can be so healing. So my guest today is Craig Goldberg, co-founder of InHarmony, an interactive and media company on a quest to improve the human condition. Craig is a certified vibro vibroacoustic therapist with a broad experience in sales, marketing, and operations. He's a beacon for living a holistic, love-filled lifestyle and takes great pride in meeting new people and making introductions. He's built his career on relationships, marketing, and professional networking and building community. His company, In Harmony, has created a collection of products that use a system of tech assisted sound and vibration therapies to quickly and comfortably put the user in a deeply relaxed state and provide a host of mental and physical benefits.
Very cool. Yeah, I remember how excited you were to get the cushion. Super
Yeah,
cool.
and I love it. I love it. I'm so grateful and appreciative. So we'll be back to talk with Craig Goldberg after this break. Well, we have Craig Goldberg as our guest today, and I am so grateful that you were able to join us today. And
I'm honored to be here.
oh my God. And I love my cushion. I mean, I
Mm,
just adore it. So usually when I start an interview, I start with a breathing exercise
let's go.
so that we can arrive. So it's inhale for 4 and exhale for twice as long, exhale for 8. So expel
Cool.
all the air out of your lungs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Relax. So I always do that just to, get my guests, in their body, and so that when we start talking to each other, then they're coming from their body and heart space. So I'm sure you are very in tune uh, with that, with
I breathe
breathing
every day.
exercises. Yeah. And you know what? I found the breath work
Mm-hmm.
on your app,
Yeah,
and
Ben Holt.
yes,
Yeah,
I
it's awesome.
love that. Oh my God. Okay. So in the what is vibroacoustic therapy, and
Mm-hmm.
why is it useful? I mean, what
Yeah,
does
so
it do?
it's the body of research behind and really what governs kind of what we do for the last 40 plus years.
Mhm.
Um, my company, InHarmony, has been around for 7 years total, but the body of research goes back 40 plus years to the late 1970s. It was discovered by a gentleman by the name of Olav Skill, and it's basically the study of sound and frequency and its impact on our physiology, on our neurology, on our bodies as a whole. And this very specific body of research looks at frequencies specifically between 30 hertz and 120 hertz and how they impact our body and how our body operates. And there's lots of published research, peer reviewed, all of the things that talks about these different frequencies and how they impact our physiology.
Yeah, and so many people, they're talking vibration, raising your vibration, all of that, and the importance of it
Hmm.
for health, whether it be physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health,
Yeah. I mean, look, we
right?
all the body and the nervous system cannot delineate between mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual stress. It only has one response, and that's the sympathetic nervous system response, or fight or flight.
Hmm.
And that response is really designed for a physiological response from the body. Increase in cortisol and adrenaline, it shifts energy towards and blood flow towards the major muscle groups. It turns off aspects of our overall maintenance tasks like our immune system, digestion, rational thinking, reproductive organs, and it shifts that energy to the main muscle groups. So mindfulness and meditation is really an opportunity for you to calm that response, for you to show up day in and day out, especially with mental, spiritual, and emotional stress, where you don't need necessarily the physiological response. You want to be able to calm and relax the nervous system so that you can show up cool, calm, and collected and stay that way in a stressful situation.
Yeah, and so the vibration
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, that's so impactful.
Indeed.
And I never thought that it would have that intensity
Yeah. So
of
you
that impact.
you mentioned something in the last question, which was we all hear about kind of raising your vibration, right?
Hmm.
We've all had days where we don't feel optimal, right? We just call it you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, call it whatever happenstance, like it's cloudy outside. Like there's a variety of different reasons why we don't feel our best. And there are days where you don't feel your best, you need to be your best, especially if it's
Right.
competition day.
Yeah.
So we are antennas, we are energetic beings, we are constantly picking up and matching the frequencies that we are presented with. So one great way to raise your vibration is to present the body with vibrations that are going to elevate your vibration, and you will come into what's called harmonic resonance with that frequency that you're being presented by. And that's the short and very easy way to explain what our technology does is sitting on our meditation cushion, laying on our sound lounge 2, the practitioner 2, the massage table. You're presenting your body with specific frequencies that are designed to raise and uplift your your nervous system state into a parasympathetic nervous system response, which is otherwise known as calm and relaxed. And you're basically bringing yourself into harmonic resonance with those higher frequencies and those higher vibrations, which is lifting your mood and helping you to perform at your best. almost instantaneously. It's really remarkable how fast and impactful this can be on your overall well-being and the perception of that well-being as well.
Right. Right. And and it is just, I didn't realize I didn't say meditation,
Mm-hmm.
but I started, I learned visualization when I was 3.
So good. I remember our
And
first conversation about this, by the way.
yeah, yeah. And so it just like, I just thought that everybody did it, number one. And, there's so many people who ask me, well, I don't feel I'm doing it right. They're in their judgment
Totally.
space.
We can
And
talk about that.
yeah. And so what do you tell people?
Well, so we serve two main parties, if you will, specifically with the
Mhm.
meditation cushion. Those like myself that have been told how important meditation is, how healthy and how good it is for you, but weren't able to do it.
Mm,
And then the second is folks like you that have been doing it for 20 years. Call it what you will. Call it meditation,
right.
call it visualization, call it quiet time, call it going inward, call it whatever you want. I think the word meditation,
Mhm.
I think it's very intimidating for a lot of people because they fall into that former category like I do, which is you've tried to sit down and quiet your mind and you just can't do it. You're constantly thinking about all the things you should be doing, all the things you're not doing, and you're not quieting your mind and instead getting more amped up and more stressed because you're just sitting here doing nothing instead of doing something that can help you to tackle that endless to-do list that never goes anywhere. That second group that's got that 20-minute a day regular meditative practice or regular practice, um, when the second group gets on our technology like you do, like a needle into a rut on a record, the sound and vibration guides you into the depth of that meditative state and does so very, very quickly. And for the former group, like myself, the sound and vibration distracts your mind and gets you out of your head so that you're no longer thinking about that to-do list and you are instead, quote unquote, losing yourself in the music, which is the direction
Mhm.
that we give people. Um, in
Right.
both cases, yeah.
And the thing is, uh, it's not, your mind is, it's thinking and judging,
Well, it
and
doesn't know
so,
how to do anything else. Here's a
right.
very, very common misconception is when you're sitting down to meditate that you're supposed to sit down and just quiet your mind. No thoughts. Don't think about anything. And that's not possible.
It's
You can't
not.
tell your brain not to think, which is why visualization is so powerful because now you're using your imagination and you're telling your brain
Mm,
what you want to visualize and what you want to see, what you expect. And you're basically predicting your future. They call it manifesting now. All the
mm,
cool kids are calling it manifestation. But the reality is you're programming your subconscious mind to work for you while you're focused on other things. The conscious mind can focus on 4 bits of information at a second, 4 different things. The
mm.
subconscious mind gets something like 4 billion stimuli per second. Just to give you a
Well,
general idea of quite how much your subconscious mind is actually handling. While your conscious mind is handling 4 things, what Craig is saying, what he looks like, maybe what's happening in the side view of the back end of the studio right now, you're really not handling too much. We're easily distracted. But the
right.
subconscious mind is constantly working in your favor. So that visualization practice, your brain can't actually tell the difference between this reality, what I see through
Mhm.
my eyes and perceive in this reality, a dream or a visualization. So that visualization practice that you learned when you were 3 that carried you through the Olympics and all the greatness that you have performed is actually what the science is saying right now is that you're actually training your subconscious mind to work for that goal, to create that reality that you have visualized. And it continues to work while you continue to do other things. Granted, you were training, you have muscle memory. There were a lot of different things that were happening
Right.
while you're training. And for your body, it's not just that visualization. Although they've done specifically with basketball players, they
Mhm.
have taken 3 different groups. One group that actually did free throws, one group that just
Mhm.
visualized themselves doing free throws, and one group that didn't do anything. And then when they actually got out to shoot the free throws, the group that visualized themselves making every free throw is the group that shot the highest percentage.
Yeah.
The
That
power
doesn't
of
surprise me.
visualization.
That
Yeah.
really doesn't surprise me, because like in the, in the visualization work, uh, it's so funny because like when I talked to other groups and taught my finding your rhythm uh,
Hmm.
workshop, I encourage the people that I'm working with not to always visualize perfect.
Hmm.
Because generally, like in diving, you may make certain errors. Your balance might be back on the board, so you have to adjust to it. You're not going to get the
Hmm.
perfect takeoff. And especially in high stress situations like the Olympic Games, you're less likely to get that perfect takeoff.
Hmm.
And the key is success. How successful can I be with this takeoff that I'm given? Because you
Hmm.
have to deal with it, because that comes from my dancer background. When I started dancing, when I was a year and a half, I was performing on stage when I was 3. Once the needle hits the record, there's no going back. There's no
Oh.
do-overs. So you have to, if you have a lapse in memory of what combination comes next, you have to catch up. You have
Improvise.
to adjust. You have to
Yeah.
improvise.
Yeah.
And so that was always, something I think that I benefited from, because my coach, Ron O'Brien, he said he could count on one hand how many times I balked. And when I stopped, I was doing an approach and then I stopped because it wasn't perfect.
Hmm.
Um, because every bad takeoff, and was my interpretation, every bad takeoff was an opportunity to see how successful I can be. Sure, it's not going to be a 10, but if you can make a 6 or 7 out of that bad takeoff, it's a hell of a lot better than getting a half or 1 or 0.
Hmm. Absolutely. Well, and you're preparing yourself for those situations, right?
Right.
It's like you got a plan B,
Hmm.
right? Like you're training that backup plan, and if you got to use it in that split second of noticing your foot is in the wrong place and you haven't left the board yet, but you're at the bottom of that takeoff,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you can begin to make those micro adjustments because this isn't something new. This is
Right.
something that you've practiced and trained. And I mean, I immediately think of the armed forces that are training over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again, or elite athletes are very much the same way.
Yeah.
The 5 P's: proper planning prevents poor performance. And when you plan for it, you're good to go. And you got to do it physically, and you got to do it through that visualization practice as
Right.
well. And you got to have people that can train you, that can
Hmm.
teach you, that can guide you. And just to bring it back to what we do with vibroacoustic therapy, sound and vibration guides you into that meditative state. You don't even have to think about it. You
No.
simply need to lose yourself in the music. And all that means is that you're listening to the music and allowing yourself to be present in that moment,
Right.
because far too often we don't allow ourselves to just be. We're constantly thinking about where we need to go, where we just were. We're not often in the present moment. And that's what our technology really helps you to do.
Right. Yeah. So what inspired you to create this?
I had my experience just like you did.
Yeah.
It's not very often that we reach out to folks. It's not very often that we have these types of conversations which brought us together, which makes it even that much more special. Beth found us through the PR world and
Hmm.
connections that they had, and said, "Hey, Greg's really into meditation. You should talk to him." We had a conversation, and I don't know if you remember this, but I actually said, "Greg, I'm not going to send it to you just for the sake of sending it to you. If you're going to use it, I'm happy to share it with you." And that makes it all that much more special that you had that meditative practice, that you had that
Uh,
history, right? I mean,
I
it's just wild.
I mean and I love the cushion. I'm every morning and sometimes in the evening, I plop my ass in that cushion
So
and
good.
I love it. And I love the technology that you have going through your app,
Hmm.
that it really heightens the experience. It's, it really is impactful. I mean, and meditation, we're starting to understand, I think, a lot more, more of the general public are understanding how important meditation is, and it's not about really clearing your mind. It is just not um, letting things go. Thoughts come up, let it go, not
And that's a
attaching.
practice.
And
That is a
not
practice.
attaching. But, because when we attach to something, then that's when things kind of go wrong and our mind goes crazy, and, in creating these bizarre, situations. But letting that
60
go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go.
on average, the average human has about 60,000 thoughts per day. 90 to 95% of them are the same thoughts they had the day before.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, when you start to think about things in a new way and you give yourself an opportunity to calm and relax the mind, we all know when we're stressed and anxious and a situation comes up, how we handle it, right? You're frazzled, you're not thinking well, you're already stressed. The great example that I give is you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. My wife laughs at me continually because I'm always spilling stuff on my shirt. I'm never eating clean and keeping things on the plate or the placemat. We use placemats. That's that messy in my house, right? And like
Yeah.
and like we've all had that morning where you wake up and you spill coffee on your shirt, right? And then I don't often eat breakfast, but if I'm having eggs or a sandwich and the ketchup falls off the side and it gets on, we've all had that morning where it happens and you're like, all right, cool. If you're thinking rationally and you're cool, calm, and collected, you just go
Mhm.
change your shirt and you go on by
Right.
your day. But when you're in a
Yeah.
rush and you're already stressed because you've got this thing going on and you got something happening and all of a sudden this is like the end of the world and I don't know what to do, and the reality is the same options are available to me. I just go change my shirt, right? Send a
Right.
text, hey, I'm going to be a couple minutes late. But when
Yeah.
you're stressed and anxious, when you're not in that place to think about that clearly, and this
Mhm.
is a conditioned muscle, being cool,
Mhm.
calm, and collected is a conditioned muscle. And people tell me all the time, wow, Craig, you're always so relaxed. You're always so calm. You don't have stress. You don't have anxiety. And I tell people I selfishly created this company and maintain this business so that I have access to the same technology that everybody else does. I use the meditation
Right.
cushion on a regular basis. I use my sound lounge on a regular basis. I am as much our biggest fan as I am an evangelist for the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan too. Climb into that cushion, as it
I
were.
appreciate that.
I so love it,
Mm,
and yeah, I mean, and really, the benefits of um, changing your vibration, and also I love that you are experimenting and moving towards the different brain waves, the
yeah.
delta and
Yeah.
gamma, and
Yeah.
that, because that is uh you know probably with the cushion, I think that I could get there.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about those brainwaves for a
Yeah.
moment and just kind of classify them. So there's five main brainwaves. There's a sixth called SMR. We do a lot of work with a company called BrainTap, and they've been studying the brain for 20 plus years. So a lot of this is coming from the work I've done with Dr. Patrick Porter and the collaborations that we've done together. The when your eyes are open and you're processing the world around you, the predominant brainwave is a beta brainwave. It's measured between 12 to 14 hertz up to about 40 hertz. And this is measured through an EEG, an echoencephalograph, and it's testing how fast the brain waves, the synapses in your brain are moving. And we can measure that through this EEG. And it's a 19-point harness, and we start to see where and how different parts of the brain are firing at different times. When you listen to music, it harmonizes the brain in a very unique way, which is why sound and vibration is so powerful. And now you couple that with meditation, and you're moving down into an alpha brainwave state, measured between 12 to 14 hertz, down to about 8 hertz, then theta, 8 hertz down to about 4 hertz, and then delta, 4 hertz down to about a half a hertz, and then gamma, which is above 40 hertz up to about 100 hertz. And we can measure how fast the synapses are firing and how fast your brain is harmonized in these different brainwave states using that EEG. When you're listening to music, you can entrain an alpha or a theta brainwave state, which becomes that target meditative brainwave state. Unfortunately, and this is the research that Patrick and his team have found, and I have too, in using their HRV product called Neural Check. I test a lot of brains as they come into my studio before using the sound lounge or the meditation cushion. And unfortunately, so many Americans, so many people that come through and do this testing, so many of them are so overtired and exhausted. We're not getting enough sleep. We're not getting enough rest. And even at that, we're not getting in and out of the different brainwave states during REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. We're supposed to be in a theta brainwave, but we're not getting that deep sleep. That the brain is so exhausted, it's putting itself into a delta brainwave state while the eyes are open and that human being is awake. And a lot of people that we test have high delta brainwaves when their eyes are open, which not too long ago wasn't really possible. You can only drift out of a beta brainwave state when your eyes were closed. And here we are seeing people with their eyes open, looking at me while we're taking 300 heartbeats to look at their heart rate variability. And they are predominantly in a delta brainwave state because the brain doesn't know how else to shut down the body except to slow down the brainwave state. And it's leaving people very crippled in the day to day.
Yeah, because it's more than burning the candle on both ends. I mean, it really is, and in all of the stuff we're doing to ourselves, and the health benefits are really, I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
To
Well, look,
be able to release.
our downtime is as important as our uptime. As you're training, your recovery time was something that you took really seriously. Yeah, it's important to train. It's important to be in the pool. It's important to get the reps and to get that going. But our downtime is as important as our uptime, and it's no different for the weekend warrior as it is the Olympian. It's no different for look. I have a 3.5-year-old. She woke me up. I went to bed last night at 9 p.m. She woke me up at 11:30. I got out of her bed at 1:30 because I fell asleep in her bed. I got back into my bed. She woke me up at 4:20, and I got out of her bed at 6:45 or 7:30 or whatever it was this morning. And I don't sleep well in my daughter's bed, and I don't feel as well when I sleep in my daughter's bed, and I know it, right? So even just the day-to-day life stuff, we know when we don't get enough rest. And I'm going to get on my sound lounge this afternoon. I'm going to make up for some lost time and some lost theta and alpha brainwave state. Absolutely.
Yeah, because when you are able to get to those, brainwave states, like you had mentioned earlier, the body starts healing itself. And so, yeah, to be able to make up for, lost rest or healing, this is
Well,
great.
it's a big catch-up game.
Yeah.
To that point, it's a big catch-up game. And we can only be so sleep deprived for so long. And people ask me a lot, can this technology help in my sleep? The answer is absolutely. More importantly, what is sleep? Sleep is nothing more than a conscious perspective of a slower brainwave state. So think about that for a second. Meditation, you're allowing the brain to slow down that brainwave state into alpha, theta, delta, even up into gamma. And you're giving yourself an opportunity to move in and out of these different brainwave states, which is exactly what is supposed to be happening when we sleep. So meditation is a great way for you to give yourself that rest. They say 20 minutes in a theta brainwave state, is equivalent to about 6 hours of sleep.
Wow.
Think about how powerful that is. Okay.
That is, I mean, so incredibly powerful, and the amount of healing that you can do with that, and also to be able to, to do it at will, to be conscious about it and make that choice and decision.
Let's talk about that word healing, because it's something
Yeah.
that gets thrown around an awful lot, not just in my industry, but in the industry as a whole. If you're
Hmm.
stressed and anxious, your body is not in a state to heal itself. What a
Right.
lot of these different technologies are doing, you look at the Rife machines and you look at even red light therapy machines,
Mm.
PEMF, vibro-acoustic therapy, cold therapy, hot therapy, right? Yeah, we're stimulating different aspects of your physiology for sure. But most importantly, we are taking you out of a stressed and anxious state, sympathetic nervous system response, and putting you into a calm and relaxed state, a parasympathetic nervous system response. When your body is stressed and anxious, it's not in repair mode. It is in save my life. It's in survival mode. And so many people are walking around in a sympathetic nervous system response all day, every day, day after day, week after week, month after month. If you're not giving your body that downtime, that rest and relaxation time, then your body can't do what it was naturally designed to do. So a lot of
Mm.
people say things like, can this device help me heal? And the reality is, absolutely, we can help you heal. However, we're not doing the healing. The technology isn't doing the healing. Your body is simply in a relaxed state and it's doing the things that it was so naturally designed to do. I just started a 3-day water fast. I'm about 16, 18 hours in. I'm not going to have any food. I'm just going to have water, black coffee, tea, and some salt between now and Friday night.
Oh,
And
wow.
at about 24 hours, really at 16 or 18 hours, my
Mm.
body begins to go into what's called autophagy. And the process of autophagy is killing off dead cells.
Mm.
And it begins to perform these processes that so many Americans are not experiencing day in and day out. They're not experiencing autophagy because we eat every 4 hours instead of
Right.
giving our body the ability to fast. And when it goes into a fasted state, that's when it begins to get into ketosis and get into a state of called autophagy. And it begins to kill off dead cells that aren't performing correctly. We all know what dead cells are that aren't performing correctly and what that disease is called. We're not going to say it here to attract any attention to ourselves, but the body knows how to take care of and tend to itself if we
Right.
give it the right tools to perform the way it was so beautifully designed to perform.
Hmm.
And what our technology really does is it creates the space for your body to perform the way it was so naturally and beautifully designed to perform.
Hmm.
And when we do that, miracles happen. What we would call miracles happen. But the reality is the body's just doing what it knows how to do. And that is to take
Right.
care of itself, to cleanse itself, and to get itself in tip-top shape.
Yeah. The natural state is health.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it aligns and you balance what we're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to be health and vibrant and joyous and all of those things,
Compassionate, empathetic, right?
right?
And we all know when we're
Mm.
short-tempered that what the opposite happens, right?
Right.
We get angry, we get unhappy, we get dismayed, and we just project that and reflect
Yeah.
that back to everybody that's around us instead of being cool, calm, and collected, jolly, happy, and ready for anything.
Yeah. So where do you see this technology going in the future?
Well, I got to tell you, we've been doing this for 7 years. That's a great
Hmm.
question. The first 4 years, we really built this business around our InHarmony Sound Lounge, the
Hmm.
InHarmony practitioner, massage therapy, body work, clinics, practitioners, and really the technical side of this business. It wasn't until we came out with the meditation cushion in June of 2020 that we really made this shift in the consumer world and began marketing directly to consumers. And of course, the pandemic actually helped us to push in that direction, to go away from events and drift towards more online marketing. And that really spurred our growth dramatically. And we have been experiencing and watching a lot in our industry. A lot of folks have come into our space. We've been doing this for 7+ years. There's folks that have been doing it longer than us, but nobody that's really pushed out into the public like we have using Facebook marketing, Instagram, Google, and that sort of thing. And lately, we've really been seeing a renaissance in the space. People are interested in taking their own health into their own hands. So I
Right.
see this growing. We are certainly not slowing down in any way, shape, or form. We just rolled out 3 new products: a new InHarmony Sound Lounge, our InHarmony massage table, and a new InHarmony practitioner. We're calling it the Practitioner 2, the Sound Lounge 2, and the massage table. Our cushion remains the same. It's a beautiful product as is, same as the one that you have. And then, of course, our app and our record label is something that we continue to increase. We release about a new music meditation every week. We just released 11-hour extended music meditations on our YouTube channel designed to bring your home in harmony, which is something that we're really excited about. I stream frequencies through my Sonos sound system all day long. And it really helps to calm and relax the entire household, the energy of the entire home. Everybody that comes into my house is always like, so calm and relaxing here. So for me, it's really about managing growth, building community, teaching, training, and educating people around the efficacy and the impact that this has. You mentioned benefits. It helps with circulation. It helps with lymphatic drainage. It opens up the detox pathways and really helps the body to release toxicity and release toxic load. It reinforces the mind-body connection, and it helps you to spend more time in a parasympathetic nervous system response compared to being in survival mode in that sympathetic nervous system response. It's really quite profound, the impact that it has. It's great for folks of all ages. My daughter was 1 week old when she had her first Sound Lounge session. My wife used it through her pregnancy, albeit a lower vibration. And it's just really incredible technology that I really think everybody needs access to. So we're not going to slow down. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep evangelizing, not just for InHarmony, but the entire industry, biohacking, and the things that we can do to get ahead on health and really just take life by the balls, so to speak,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
charge
yeah.
forward.
And it's funny too, because like I'll set up and get on the cushion, and that's one thing you said. Your household is very calm. Well, the dogs settle down. They're like lounging around, because that energy is energy. The vibration is just really that impactful
Yeah,
that it's it really is very beneficial and calming.
indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
love it.
Look, the sound and the frequency, thank you. The sound and the frequency guides the mind, body, and spirit to that relaxed state. It's
Mhm.
nothing you have to think about. So it's not, we do quite a bit of Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, Google, and I'm the one that replies to the comments. Okay. I enjoy that
Mhm.
role. I purposely take on that role. So it's me that's replying to the comments. I often sign my name. And a lot of times people are particular about, well, you don't need a $700 meditation cushion to meditate. And I reply back, you're 100% correct. Go sit outside, sit underneath a tree, quiet your mind, and meditate. You can absolutely do this on your own. What our technology does is it works like a guide to teach you how to define that rut so that the needle can find that rut over and over and over again. And it's not something that you become reliant on. It's not like you're not going to be able to meditate on your own without our technology. In fact, quite the opposite. Once you have trained your mind, body, and spirit to go to that alpha, theta, delta brainwave state, or gamma for that matter, your brain now knows how to get there without the technology. So you're just like yourself. You really look forward to getting onto that cushion every day. So do I. However, if I'm out and about and all of a sudden construction shows up and I'm running late, now I don't have my cushion, but I'm sitting in my truck and I'm driving. I can go back to that meditative state, take a deep breath, recognize that I'm feeling stressed and anxious, recognize that there is a solution here. And that box breathing and actually not the box breathing that you just, but that 4 count in, 8 count out, scientifically proven to drift you into a parasympathetic nervous system response to stimulate.
Mhm.
That breath work in particular will stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system response. Now, all of a sudden, because of the conditioning and the training that you've done on the cushion or on our other technology, you can take that with you to the grocery store when you're on a long checkout line, to the bank
Mhm.
when the person in front of you and they close down another teller and now it's just one teller for everybody's there. There's all sorts of stressful situations that we come about day in and day out that we can now condition ourselves to perform better at. And like that muscle that we're working out, that parasympathetic nervous system response can be that same conditioning that we can do using InHarmony technology, and then having those tools with us every other moment of the day becomes really powerful.
Yeah, because you recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's you recognize what does that feel like? What does that you've gotten there maybe on the cushion, but yeah, you can take that wherever you go. And a part of that is also confidence too, because
Mm-hmm.
what I liken it to is, in order for me to do a new dive, I really had to see somebody do it. They have to prove that they can do it. But it's the
Mm-hmm.
same type of thing. If you can prove it to yourself that it can be done and
Yeah.
you're capable, then you have so much more confidence to be able to, oh, I recognize that. I can do this. I can do
Of
this
course.
in line at the bank. I can do this, when there's, one teller or one checkout at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
So you have that kind of in your back pocket as a tool to kind of fall back on.
I'm sure there's an equivalent in the diving world, but it's like the sub 4 hour marathon, right?
Yeah.
We just didn't, or the sub 4 minute mile.
4 minute
Sorry.
mile. The 4 minute mile. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like they
Well,
just didn't think it could be done, and then it
that
was
was
done, and now
700.
everybody's doing it.
Yeah, that was
Crazy.
700 on 3-meter springboard and 10-meter platform.
Right.
That was
So,
the
and
mark.
all of a sudden you see somebody else do it, and you're like, oh, cool.
If they can do it, then everybody else, then those records are broken.
Indeed. So I want to give a quick shout out to Danny and Wendy Shays.
Oh my God, Danny and Wendy.
Because we're sitting at dinner. I met them through David Meltzer, unrelated to us. And we're sitting at dinner, and I brought you up because we were talking about amazing human beings that are doing this. And she kind of looked at me. Wendy looked at me like, did you know that I was an Olympic diver? Did you know that I used to dive with Greg and that he's a personal friend of mine? And I looked at her and I'm like, I had no idea. Like, I was just bringing up this Greg who I love, like talking about our relationship and somebody who loves our technology. And anyway, I just wanted to give Wendy and Danny a shout out.
She was on the 1988 team with me. She was in Seoul.
It was absolutely remarkable. So we were just sitting at dinner, but just before Christmas, and we had a great conversation. Your name came up, and anyway, it was just really beautiful.
Sweet. Wonderful. So how do we stay in touch with you? How do we keep up on what you're up to and what's next on the horizon?
I appreciate that. So you can find us on all the socials. Our website is IamInHarmony.com. I am being the two most powerful words in the English language, because anything that comes after it, you are. I am in harmony. Why don't you want to be in harmony with the world around you? And that's exactly what we focus on, is helping you to bring yourself into harmony with the world around you. So we could be found on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Google and YouTube. I mean, you name it, we've got a presence out there. Our website, IamInHarmony.com. You'll find my contact information at the top. That is actually my cell phone number. Well, it's my office number. It's an 888, but it actually rings to my cell phone. And if anybody has any questions, you can email us support@IamInHarmony.com, or you can catch me, Craig, at IamInHarmony.com. I am like one of the easiest people to get in touch with. And I am so grateful for this opportunity to get the word out. I'm so grateful for our relationship, Greg. I'm grateful that you love our technology and utilize it daily. And I just want more people to know about the power and strength of sound and vibration, and that these tools exist. And I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you.
It really is amazing stuff, and keep up the good work. And I love it. And so, I mean, I can't stress enough how grateful I am that you sent it to me. I'm so grateful. And I'm looking forward to us meeting face to face very, very soon.
Me too. Let's hop in our RVs and travel around the country together. I'm down.
Okay. There you go. So we'll figure that out. But thank you again for joining us on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll be back. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back. And oh my God, what a wonderful conversation with Craig. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that he's really kind of exploring, the different wavelengths of, the gamma and delta and theta,
Oh my God, Greg, that got me so
and
excited.
tapping into that.
Yeah. That got me
Yeah,
so excited.
yeah,
I am like, I could totally geek out over that.
yeah.
Because each state, for people that don't really know, but each state will kind of help us, in different ways. And it's just very cool because there's a lot of that we don't often, well, first of all, we like never knowingly use unless we are actually, immersed in that space. But that, we
Right.
don't often utilize those states, to our advantage, like the way that we could.
Mm,
So I love that he was talking about that and he's like done so much research there and continues to dig into it. I could
yeah.
not write notes fast enough because, as I sit backstage and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so cool. I wanna write that down and, bring that up later." But I
Yeah.
have so many notes.
Uh,
My sheet is loaded, but actually one of the things that I thought was really interesting, um, was obviously the whole thing with the brainwaves, but we have 60,000 thoughts per day on average, he said. And that
yeah.
90 to 95% of them are things that we're not actually, like, consciously thinking. They're the recycling things that are playing, like, over and over again.
Well, we're creatures of
That's
habit.
insanity.
We're creatures of habit, and also, like when I was talking to Yogi Aaron, I said, yeah, we're judging machines. He said, oh my God, yes, we are,
Yeah,
and we are. We're in our heads. We're judging, good, bad, light, dark, all of that,
right.
and all of those thoughts. Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's
I mean
really.
sorry.
I mean, that's what meditation does for me.
Yeah,
It kind of quiets that, not attaching to a thought, letting it go. Something comes up and let it go,
yeah,
just not attaching to it, which is really the crazy, when we attach to stuff, that's the crazy,
yeah.
we kind of spin out over that.
Like, always being happy to address business and stuff, like, I tend to put
Mm,
that first way too many times, above self-care and the
mm,
meditation. And even if it's because sometimes meditation to me is sitting in nature. Like I love just
mhm.
being immersed in nature, like out of any kind of building and just kind of at one with, whatever's going on in nature.
Well, yeah, they talk about that, as
Mhm.
grounding.
Yeah.
Getting out when you're, um, who was it? Greg Stern, the barefoot.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, get out in nature and put your feet in the grass or the sand, and to get grounded. And it really does. I mean, I notice when I go hike the dogs, that really has an incredible effect on me, being out in nature, getting grounded. And, there's all sorts of
Well, I
meditations.
was just gonna say,
So you can
like,
do a walking
yeah,
meditation.
yeah,
You can do, there's so many ways in which we can utilize, and just focusing on your breath, breath exercises. Oh, the
yeah,
breath exercise, the breath work
yeah,
that I was talking about.
yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it's some of the it was really
Well,
incredible.
there were 2 things, like, to that end of what you just brought
Mm,
up that,
mhm,
Craig mentioned. So, one was, he said 20 minutes of meditation. So and this is
mhm,
probably has completely now sold me. I'm like, "Shit, I could squeeze in 20 minutes for sure." 20 minutes of
right?
meditation is, like, equal to 6 hours of sleep in terms of the rest, that your body is getting
Mhm,
out of that. That
right.
was so cool. And then he did mention something else about breathing, the 4 count in and 8 count. out, like putting you in theta state? I think that's what I heard.
Well, and that's the breathing exercise that I do with my
Right.
guests, is four in and 8 out. So you're exhaling twice as long as you're inhaling.
Right.
And it really, I don't know the physiology of that and all that stuff. I really don't know, but I do know it has a very calming effect.
Yeah. Well, everybody says that.
And then he did mention box breathing,
Yes, I heard that.
which
Isn't that more of like
which
a
is
breath of fire thing? I've heard it called breath of fire. That's like a little faster.
well, breath of fire is different, but it
Okay.
can have a similar result because I use the box breathing for a reset.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, like when you're getting in a negative uh, loop uh, mentally, then I use either box breathing or another breathing exercise to get out of that.
Yeah.
And and it's challenging. I love breath work too, because and they're so interconnected.
It all is, and it really is amazing because it's all just things we do with our own body. It's not
Mhm.
drugs, it's not having to go anywhere. Like, I mean, it's really incredible if you think about it.
Yeah.
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 So I loved that episode, and I do want to throw in there for anyone listening. This is our last episode for a little while. We're taking a little break, and we're not sure how long the break is going to be. Um, so I was hoping to be able to say how long the break was going to be.
Yeah,
So,
that would have been
yeah,
nice.
but we
Yeah,
don't know.
when we're
So
back
you're gonna have to
on.
follow Greg
Yeah.
because Greg will keep everyone posted on social media.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll keep you
yeah,
posted.
but so Greg, I also thought, just to kind of bring up, so in 2 weeks you're starting a new gig.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to be working with the LA 28, the Olympic Games in 28. So they have a fellowship, and I applied, and I start work on January 16th.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. It's so funny because like everybody was asking, oh, what's going on with LA? Because they know the Olympics is coming back to LA. It's like, what's going on with with LA, 28. I said, I don't know.
Now
I
you'll
don't know.
know.
I don't know. Now
Now you'll
I can
have an
know. What better
answer.
way to find out than, be there on the ground and working with
Right.
them. So I'm looking forward to working with Janet Evans and Jason and all of them over at LA
I
28.
think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
And with that said,
Yeah.
Greg, thank you for the last, is it like 30 episodes or something, I think now? Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. This
Yeah.
has been
Thank
fun.
you.
We'll be doing it again. We just don't know when.
Just don't know when
Yeah.
and with whom. So thank you for joining today's episode of Greg Louganis is Alive. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone you love. Namaste.
Yay Networks.